Ah, boy, here we go.
Yep, I'm back. I swear I'm going to talk about more than just Sonic games in any of my video game videos. It's just something that's been repeatedly coming up, and I don't know, I'm just really into Sonic games and just the franchise in general more than most other video game franchises. So I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in here about Sonic Origins, which was revealed earlier this morning, and kind of compare it to a couple other things, and might have a tangent in there about collector's editions and other editions in general, so bear with me. If you're a fan of the quality of the video, between the recording, the audio recording or the video recording, please check out the description down below. And by fan, I mean, don't hit a dislike on this video just because of how it looks and how it sounds. Check the description, that will explain most of everything you need to know, and we'll just move on from there, so I'm not going to bring it up after that point. I don't know why, but somehow my Wii, when I connect it to the TV, does have some color issues. I don't know why it does that, and it does do that off camera as well sometimes, but then sometimes it comes back. So if there's a color issue here, that's probably something with the cables that I just haven't figured out yet. So, right now I'm on Sonic Mega Collection, and I'm going back and forth through a couple of different cheats so I can unlock the other games in here, because I haven't unlocked all of them. Because I didn't actually know there was a thing you could do, or how to do it, for a very long time. So maybe a lot of restarting and going back to the game a couple times, so bear with me as I do that. So, Sonic Origins, I watched the trailer, and okay, it's fine. Like, for the average person who is familiar with Sonic and maybe doesn't have older systems or other ways to play it, Sonic Mega Collection is just one of many Sonic compilations over the years from many different systems. I'm playing a lot of games. Yeah, I'm on Sonic 3D Blast. So, the thing that's weird about it is that it's kind of a bare bones collection, to be honest. There's not a lot of games included with this one. I will give it the credit that Sonic 3 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles are playable on here, because they've been sitting in legal limbo for a very long time, especially considering the soundtrack. So, the fact that they're not only playable on modern consoles, but also playable in general, like just re-releasing it, is kind of welcoming. But for anyone who has actually been a Sonic fan for a long time, or still has access to older games and things like that, this collection, Sonic Origins, really does nothing for you. It doesn't do anything for me. I kind of like some things here and there, like I said, for, you know, having modern ways of playing some of these games. But if I recall correctly, Sonic 1 and 2 have already been available through either Sonic Classics, like Sega Classics, if I remember correctly, for a lot of modern consoles. I want to say there may be another collection or something that it's available for like this modern era of consoles, the Switch, Xbox One, and PS4, maybe even PS5. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. And again, I am multitasking here, so bear with me. But I do think that it's weird that some of it just doesn't really offer anything special. There's really nothing that, if you've already been a Sonic fan for a while and you already have access to these games, you are getting basically nothing out of this experience. There may be a couple of exclusive, you know, bonuses or whatever. That's something I'd like to touch upon as well, because I know everybody and their mother and their flicky friends have also talked about it. But it's an important thing. It's weird that a Sonic compilation is offering so many different editions of its game, and there are things to get from those editions, some things that may be valuable to people, but in general doesn't do anything really for a lot. So if I scroll back here, I have the computer pulled up to the side, 5 different ways of obtaining different things with the Sonic Origins. So there's like these multiple packs, there's like 3 different packs that are coming out with all these different features. And then there's, Standard Edition, Digital Deluxe Edition of the game, which compile some of them in the Digital Deluxe, but not everything. So it feels weird about it. And just the way that the chart is lined up, a lot of people have said this already, and I do agree with this. It gives a lot of Ubisoft vibes. A lot of times when Ubisoft releases a game, an original game, a brand new game, not even a compilation, and I do want to harp on that. When they release a new game, they do mention, you know, all these different editions and what's available in them, and there's like a big Excel spreadsheet of what you can purchase. But most of the time, it's really complex. There's so many different options that it's kind of hard to choose properly. And keep in mind, even if you get the most expensive edition of any of the games, you do not get every bonus material. Not everything is included, even in the biggest packages or the most expensive of editions. That's what's kind of frustrating for a lot of people, is that why wouldn't you put it all together in one thing, you know? My theory on that, and I have no idea for sure, but my theory on that is that it sells more copies of the game. So, much like in Sonic Origins, so it's like, okay, you can't get everything in one copy, but if you get it across 2 of them or so, then you might be able to get everything. But that also means you have 2 copies of a game that you don't need unless you're going to play it on multiple consoles. Like, hey, if you get it for the Switch and the PS4, you know, that would make sense. That would be fine. But if you're only going to own one console that you really want to play this game on, why bother? Why bother with another, you know, copy of the game? Why would you play it on something else? I could be a hypocrite in that way because I have bought multiple editions of games over time, like multiple copies from various systems, even in the same generation. My only reasoning with that is that most of the time it's because they're already old. Like, they're not brand new games that are coming out, and I want to get every edition of them, you know, because I know that across each console they're going to be practically the same thing. But also, I'd say, well, yeah, it's... I can only think of maybe one circumstance recently where I would have bought 2 of the same game because there were different editions available, and that was really more of a stock issue, not necessarily because they were made. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, it has been very hard to find the deluxe edition in stores, and that's aside from pre-ordering or anything like that. I've had a hard time of finding it across Targets and Walmarts in my area, even in various other areas I just happen to be getting to, and I just kind of like call them up or I check the store itself for their inventory, and unfortunately they only have either a standard edition, no editions of any kind, or they have a deluxe in a system that I'm not willing to play it for. Like, I don't necessarily need a deluxe edition for the Switch when I only really want to play it for PS4. But I guess I could just, you know, the deluxe edition is the same, you know, features as the, what do you call it, PS4 edition, so maybe I could get what I want to play it on as PS4, and then get the deluxe edition for the Switch because it's actually available. Well, that just feels dumb. It feels like a bigger waste of money that way. Why would I do that? I would rather do that with a game that's already discontinued. It's already available in like your local GameStop or something. That really doesn't matter what you get them from. It's like they're dirt cheap editions of each of the games, and you know, even if you get a little bit of perks with one over another, you're not spending an arm and a leg to do that, you know, in total. So, I have actually seen a post sometime later after the initial rant from a lot of people about the game, about the thing coming up, that kind of summarized all the editions. That it's like, you have the standard edition with pre-orders, here's what you get with the pre-order bonuses, and then here's the deluxe edition. If you pre-order, this is the bonuses you get with that. I believe that should have been the way that they summarized it, or at least have that as a visual as well when, you know, announcing the game, because otherwise it's very convoluted. It makes it a lot more complicated than it ought to be. Because now it's like, okay, I can plan that a bit better. If I want to get the deluxe edition, if I want to get the standard, if I want to get DLC, if I want to pre-order, now it's in a much easier to comprehend chart. You know, if you have too many decisions, then you're not going to make a decision. That's happened before, and it could always happen again. I am actually trying to X out of this game for just a moment, on purpose. Not just accidentally running into it. Ah, I missed. Okay. So that is weird. That system exists. But even if you disregard the paywall, or not paywall, the different ways of purchasing any of those games, you still have a couple problems with Sonic Origins inherently. The way that it's advertised looks a lot like Sonic Mania, including the backgrounds, which I guess you could say, you know, Sonic Mania Collection, even here, technically does that as well, where you have different backgrounds with, you know, all these different graphics, kind of the 90s aesthetic going on, but it feels very Sonic. And it's like, okay, sure. But it just gets so boring. It gets so underwhelming over time. It just feels like it doesn't matter at some point that Sonic is featured with all these things in the background. Sonic 1, it has something that you can call its own. Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles. Even if it's very basic for Sonic Knuckles, you can call it its own for how it's, you know, presented. Sonic Spinball. Dare I say, yes, I'm playing Sonic Spinball for a bit, but that even, you can recognize that separately from other Sega games, from other Sonic games in general. Man, this game is rough. Anyways, and I played this on a Genesis, so even in its initial form, it's rough. But yeah, Sonic Origins as a compilation feels so bare bones. Like, there are so many ways you could play a lot of these games, whether older compilations like this, or even just, you know, emulation. Some people do like emulation, and I honestly am kind of leaning towards that because I think there's some fair points to it. Like, some things that actually feel unnecessary, getting the release copy of something that already exists, already has existed for a long time. I'm not saying you can't re-release or re-port a game. That's fine on its own, but there's nothing else special to it. I mean, I didn't even talk about like the actual features of the of all those purchases, or what all those different DLCs and things. Some people complain about the actual things themselves, where it's like, oh, we get animated intros for the main menu as something you pay for? Wouldn't that be a part of the game itself? Wouldn't that be a thing that, you know, would actually show, hey, this is something you could do differently than, like, what the game itself offers differently than any other games before it? You know, that kind of thing. I'm not even going to jump into that poll, but I do agree with that. I do think that there's a couple of things. Oh, 100 Rings was another one. Sonic Lost World gave you, as a pre-order bonus, you know, many years ago, it gave you a pre-order bonus of 30 lives. Like, digitally just adding lives to the game? Okay, sure. It's whatever. It's not great. It's really, like, is that worth paying for? That's what I'm trying to get. So, I do actually have a couple bullet points. I'm not just speaking off the cuff here. I also believe that even the way it's designed, like, for that artwork, that aesthetic that they're going for, it felt like they were kind of going that way, that, you know, the part that I said before about it feeling like Sonic Mania. I didn't know much about Sonic Origins up to this point, and I didn't follow if there were any rumors or anything, but my anticipation was that it was going to be a brand new game. I mean, the Origins part of it kind of would be concerning, because, you know, what else was supposed to be an Origin video game? Sonic 06, and we all know how that went. But aside from that, it gave this impression like maybe it was going to be a brand new game. Maybe it was going to be something different. Sonic Mania already broke a boundary that many Sonic games struggled with. Not saying that none of them were popular or even like downright awful or either, but it's like they kind of just sat middle of the road for a lot of people. But Sonic Mania was something that was like, it's familiar territory in being in 2D, but it still had new things to add. There were new features, there were new mechanics, so you could add to the levels, new aesthetics for different levels to be designed. It had the right makings to go into another, you know, basically your Sonic 4. That's how I like to think of it. Aside from, like, I don't know, Sonic CD or something. I like to consider Sonic Mania as a Sonic 4 of sorts, because it's like, wow, you can actually do more things in this same environment. And in some ways, yeah, that worked. In other ways, it's like, okay, copy-paste, we know this is good, we like this. Sonic Generations was kind of like that, but it was more direct of being, oh yeah, we respect the past, we like all this stuff, this is cool, but we're also doing new stuff with it. Even then, they made 3D levels into 2D levels, and vice versa with the boost formula and stuff. You know, like, that was fine. This feels less so. This doesn't feel like it's really helping anything, and I actually want to see something more like that. I'm not going to talk about Sonic Forces, I haven't played it, but I already know the general consensus is it's not amazing. It's not something that most people look forward to. But I'm just going to leave it at that. Again, I have not played it personally. But going from there, yeah, I just want to see not Sonic Mania 2, but conceptually that. Something that brings more of that side-scrolling flair that, yes, everybody likes, but has a lot of room to improve. Has a lot of things that can be done further than before. I already touched upon that part, okay. I already mentioned about what games are available on modern consoles. I actually don't think Sonic CD is available currently, so that might be another point in the Origins bin. It's like, okay, well, now you can play it on modern consoles. But really, you were able to play it on mobile, and you were able to play it pretty much a lot of other times. Like, the way I learned about Sonic CD was on the PC, and this was like early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s. And you have the Gems collection that was on GameCube around that same time as well, you know? It was basically the selling point of the Gems collection was, oh, we couldn't fit it on the Mega collection here, but we'll put it onto another thing that will be interesting, and then just throw a couple other games in there. I honestly believe that by this point, Sonic has had more compilations than has actually had original games, including spin-offs. That's like that's a tall thing to say, but I do believe that's true. There are lots of microcosms of compilations. It could be 1 or 2 games even that have been compiled together or bundled together for any kind of system, and that's it. There's not as much original material beyond that. There are even some releases of games that haven't seen the light of day for a long time. Like, one of the best things about Mario 3D All-Stars was that we have Mario Sunshine available outside of the GameCube, which is something that has been basically abandoned. It's something that nobody has ever considered for a long time. And while I still have a GameCube, and while I still have a way of playing Mario Sunshine natively, I did still respect that. Mario 64 has been released many times on the Wii and the Switch. You know, you can't find a way that you can't play Mario 64. What else is in that compilation? Mario Galaxy was kind of another one where, okay, you could play it beyond the Wii, but you could also play it on the Wii U because it's backwards compatible. And if I remember correctly, Mario Galaxy was also available with Mario Galaxy 2 as eShop purchases on, you named it, the Wii U. So you were still able to play them even if you didn't have the original disc or have the original console that it was for. So, in that way, adapt that to Sonic, where every time there is a system, every time there is a generation, you will see Sonic the Hedgehog. You will see Sonic the Hedgehog 2. You will probably see a couple of the other Sonic games by chance or mixed in with something else. Where it's like, oh, it's a Genesis collection. Here's Mean Bean Machine for the 50th time. You know, like, Why? Who cares? You know? And then you have, like I said, there may be a couple other ones that don't cost that every generation, like 3 and Knuckles. But is that really worth the whole game purchase? You know? If you haven't already been able to find it on something else pretty recently. So, going from there, what else have I got? I got a whole lot of points in here. There are so many things. I like the general idea, the overall. I am not buying this game. I am not interested in Sonic Origins. I do not think the pre-orders will be anything really worthwhile. And I do have a bunch of these Sonic games on multiple systems. That's fine, and some of them work better than others. I'll take it for what it is, but I do not think it's worth the price of admission for something that I'm already regularly able to play, even though I'm not actually playing it right now. But okay, where was I? The background, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, so among the different compilations for Sonic games, I don't know how this happened, and I only heard about this secondhand, but I still am like surprised that this is even a thing. Sonic PC Collection. This was released in 2009 and features 29 Sega games. Not all of them Sonic, but majority of them Sonic. I think a few of them are things like Ristar or Ristar, however you pronounce it. Or Flicky, which you could... I mean, technically Flickies are in here, but they've also been their own games, so take it as you will. A couple things like that. But 29 games on one PC collection from 2009. Hardware-wise and software-wise, that can't be complicated to do nowadays. I mean, you have the Sega Classics as a compilation for modern consoles. I don't know how many games that has, but it's definitely more than 4. And it's spanning all different kinds of Sega, history. But if you really wanted an exciting compilation of Sonic games, Sonic Origins isn't that. It's not gonna be that. It's so underwhelming. I keep referring back to that word. It's the best way I could describe it. It just does nothing for me because it has so little to offer and so little reason to offer it. What else have I got here? Oh, so now I have a few comparisons. So there's another collection that I've been looking forward to that's coming out this year, but I haven't had a release date yet. And I might even make another video further explaining about why I love this compilation and why I'm excited for this one to come out. I'm not sure if I'm going to pre-order it, but I am still interested in buying it around, the time of release. Like, I'm not going to wait for clearance or something. But I'm excited for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection, which is 13 games across 2 editions. You have a standard edition, and then recently announced there is a limited edition, which basically gives you a whole bunch of physical stuff added to it. Nothing digital as far as I've read, but again, I could elaborate more on that in another video. But actual stuff that might be collectible. Things that might be interesting to fans of the Turtles games, or even just the franchise in general. But that's 13 games for the same price as the same base price as as Sonic Origins. It's like $40 for both of them, if I remember correctly. That's incredible in comparison. And sure, maybe not every single game on the Cowabunga collection is a stellar hit, but you can't deny that not only you get more games, but you also get games that haven't been released in a long time. I mean, there have been 1 or 2 other times I can think of where some of those games were re-released, usually as an Easter egg, not even as its own thing or a digital copy or anything like that. One of them was like it was like a remaster or something. It was like made from the ground up, but not as good as the original, from what I've heard. I haven't played it, so I can't really offer a lot on that. But it's still like, you're talking $3 to $4 a game at that kind of price. $40 and 13 games, it's about $3 to $4 per game. So even if you don't like something on there, you're guaranteed to like something else on there, and you're not shelling out, money that feels like a waste. You're actually going to enjoy a whole bunch of things, or just try something different. Whereas, like a lot of those games, like I said, haven't been released in other forms up to this point. So having it here is actually kind of welcoming, even if you're not a fan of all of it. Sonic Origins doesn't really help with that, because you're like, well, I guess you can play with this, but it's nothing that you can't already find elsewhere in like great quantity, in multiple ways, multiple systems over the years, and for way less money, or even just better value across the board. Like, even if it costs a little bit more, you'll get more ways to play it. I know that it's almost cheating saying the PC collection as a comparison, because not many other bundles exist like that for any franchise, but, this is Sonic Mega Collection I'm playing on. It has 12 games? 10 or 12 games or so? I'm looking at the disc. 7 great hits, plus extra games, plus bonus features. It's like, 7 games right out of the box, even if you don't have the other games unlocked like I do. Like I don't, I should say. Still gives you a better value for one game, for one compilation. And this is on the game, this is again, a long time ago, and with much more inferior hardware than what we have nowadays. So it's like, why wouldn't you be able to do that for Origin? Why wouldn't you be able to compile more things together? That's why I'm just so kind of fed up with this thing. Like, I may have just heard about it, but it really doesn't offer a lot that entices me towards it. Even if I'm a Sonic fan, I am not blind. I understand that this is so undervalued for what it could be, for what it could have been. I mean, I would recommend Sega Classics over that. I don't even have Sega Classics, because apparently you're getting a lot more games to play on modern consoles at pretty much the same price. Let me check if there's any other points that I had in here before I head out. Oh yeah, the other one that I have here as a point of comparison is Skywalker Saga. So even though I had complained before that I couldn't find certain editions of it in stores because of stock issues, at least they're readily made. I mean, they might not be readily available, maybe people just buy them quick. But at least I know that they're out there. They, were a pre-order thing only. Like, the only pre-order that you had with LEGO Skywalker Saga was a steelbook, as far as I know. You can still find the deluxe edition without the pre-order in stores. That's, a larger case to it. I don't think that includes the steelbook. I mean, it shouldn't, because that's a pre-order, but, I digress. But it includes, depending on the region, this is a weird thing, but it is a thing. Depending on the region, it'll include an extra Lego polybag, and it'll either be an X-Wing, as some people have found, or Luke with a blue milk mustache, because that was a thing. I like, that's a weird deep cut, but it's still kind of cool that it's there, even though it's not a thing I care for. Like, I'll take it if it's there. I do like the cover. That is one of the few times that I actually like the cover art for the deluxe edition about as much as the original. The original is still really good to me, but I do like the deluxe edition having Lego Darth Vader on the front of it, and you have a way of opening the case and like removing his mask and having a mask or having his face underneath. That part is very cool on its own, but even the regular edition includes DLC. It says it has a character pack on it. Like, there's a sticker on the case itself. I'm like, okay, you can actually do stuff with it beyond the initial game right out of the gate. It's kind of like what LEGO Worlds did. Like, initially they didn't release it with DLC, but DLC was available like to purchase separately. And it's like, okay, you could get it for like $5 for a classic pack or a monster pack. But later releases actually included it as a code inside of the game itself. So it's like, okay, sure. It's at a reduced price and you get more stuff with it. That's neat. It's not really a new edition out of the gate, like an upon initial release. That's what feels kind of weird about it. Whereas, you know, Sonic Origins has all these different things going on, all these different DLCs and what gets what right out the top, and you don't have a proper way of really getting everything unless you go the far extra mile of, you know, I got a pre-order, but it's got to be the digital deluxe edition, which I guess means you wouldn't have a physical copy of the game, which I don't know. I'm okay with digital versus physical, but I still kind of go back and forth on that, kind of like Sonic going back and forth in this tunnel. Please hit the right tunnel. Oh boy, oh boy. Alright, anyways. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had. That's all the notes that I had written down earlier today to really think about this. And like I said before, in general, I am not interested in Sonic Origins. I don't think there's enough for me to warrant getting that over other ways of playing the games. I already have the games available, multiple other, you know, ports on other consoles. The controls from different consoles don't really bother me as much, not always, and I already know, you know, something like Sonic Spinball is already just, no matter how you play it, it's not great. I've never heard of anyone who said, oh yeah, I had an easy time playing Sonic Spinball on the 360. No, that's just how the game is evolved. It doesn't work as well. I am excited, however, for the Cowabunga collection, and I'll share more of my thoughts about that on a separate video. So if you want to hear more about video games, and I do actually want to have proper videos, you know, actual, you know, more scripted, more straightforward content that talks about more video games across all different ages. It's a series I've been developing for a long time called Game Joke. I've already had scripts for them for a long time. It's just a matter of actually getting the visuals down and maybe a few other things here and there recorded. But you can subscribe here on Maniac4Bricks, or you can check out one of the other channels that I have down in the description below. Other ways of helping this all happen, because I would love for this to be a thing. And I'll talk to you all later. Let me know your thoughts about Sonic Origins in the comments below. I'll happily read them, and I do welcome the discourse about it. So, you know, just have a good discussion about it. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll talk to you all later. And there goes Sonic.